Hey everybody, Tommy here, World at War Comics, and I just wanted to share with you our next guest. His name is Michael Oden. He is the owner of Nine Realms Publishing, and he has an amazing Kickstarter going on right now. It is absolutely incredible. The art is incredible. The covers are incredible. You need to check it out. The links are below for you to take a look. Hit that notify button. They go live March 28th, so you have plenty of time to kind of get in line, and then you'll get that email as soon as it goes live. But Elysian Fields is the newest title by Michael, and I think you're going to love it. All right, without further ado, here's Michael and I. Hope you enjoy. Well, hello everyone, welcome to World at War Comics. My next special guest, comic book creator and writer, Mr. Michael Oden. Michael, so good to have you, my friend. First time meeting you. It's a pleasure. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me on. I just found out about your show a little while ago, and I've been doing some watches. Really like what you guys have been doing over here. It's such a great thing, and the amount of creators and everything that you're pulling on here and giving the spotlight. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of those things where, comics is this medium we all love, and it's really cool to kind of get to know the people that are behind the curtain. So, and thank you for letting me be a part of that.
No, 100%, Michael. I mean, I'm glad you reached out. Your Kickstarter looks phenomenal. So you said it was Elysian Fields. Did I pronounce it right this
Yes,
time?
Elysian Fields. Yes, that is
Yeah,
correct.
right on, man. Well, the art looks incredible, and we both have something in common. We're both fans of V, and I've had V on the podcast. I love him. He just did an amazing job in Green Lantern not too long ago with the one
He
shot, but
just
he is
crushes
phenomenal,
it,
man.
man. He's so like he is becoming for Green Lantern what Jorge Jimenez is for
Yeah.
Batman right now. Like it's going to be impossible to get work done by him here in the next like 2 years. I think
Yeah.
that they're just going to be like, yeah, we're going to sign you with an exclusive, and you're just going to be doing Green Lantern like the rest of your life. He's
He's an
so good at
amazing
it.
person too, and it's
Yeah,
just it's incredible
such
for
a nice guy.
such a
I
nice guy. Yeah, I agree.
loved working with him on the variant that we did. It was such a blast.
Awesome, man. Well, I couldn't be happy for you, man. So before we jump into the actual Kickstarter, I do
Mhm.
like to ask a few questions just to get to know you as a creator. And one of the first questions that I always ask is, where did this passion for storytelling begin in your life? And was there someone in your life that really either mentored you or kind of just pointed you in the direction of storytelling?
I think that it really all starts for me, at least, um, when I was a kid. My dad was Army Special Forces, and so he would be deployed a lot. And when I was a kid, the Bosnia conflict was going on. It's like he was over in Bosnia, he was over in all these other places. And there'd be times where like he'd be gone for a while. But then whenever he'd come back, he'd make it a point to, read me bedtime stories. And the one that he would very frequently read to me is this beautifully illustrated copy of the Iliad and the Odyssey. And that really stuck with me, and that spurred my love of history, of fantasy, mythology, everything. And that's really what storytelling is. It's keeping up those traditions. It's keeping up those things that are kind of culturally embedded in our DNA. And then I had two older half brothers growing up that were in high school, and they were all into comics and everything like that. And so you blend both of those things together, where comics are this kind of modern continuation of that classical storytelling structure of heroes. So like it just it all came together, and it's been something that I've loved my entire life. And I would say that those things in particular really pushed me down that path.
That's awesome. So this story has actually been like, when did it really start to come together for you? Like how long ago?
So what I've said about Elysian Fields, because this is actually a reboot of the comic that I did to get into the industry. Um, but like it started off as just a bunch of nerdy kids in middle school getting into arguments. So like, obviously we have the nerdy kids that are arguing about Superman and Batman, like, oh, who's gonna win in that fight? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, but we were on a whole other level because we weren't just comic nerds. We were like history and mythology nerds. So it wasn't just, oh, who would win in a fight between Captain America and Batman. It was who would win in a wrestling match between Heracles and Enkidu, or who would win in a fight between Gilgamesh and Achilles. Like, and so that's really where Elysian Fields was born out of, is just this fascination of these characters from classical mythology, from all sorts of different cultures, whether it's Greek, Sumerian, Chinese, Japanese, you name it. And so that's really where Elysian Fields came from. And then, over time, that was something that I was just really fascinated with and was constantly mulling over concepts in my head. And eventually I came up with this idea of creating this tournament in the underworld
Mhm.
where all of these characters would be able to come in and face one another and do battle in an epic fashion. And so that's really what led to that. And then, Elysian Fields is in Greek mythology, that's where all the heroes go. So it was just kind of this like perfect thing where it's just, yeah, this works. And I put it together.
Awesome. Well, you kind of alluded to it, but give us your elevator pitch on what fans could expect when they back Elysian Fields.
At its simplest, it's Mortal Kombat with heroes of mythology. Like it is straight up, you have this tournament in the underworld that happens every millennia or so, where all of the respective gods of the dead throughout every single mythology put together teams of heroic champions from their respective cultures, pit them in an arena against one another, and then the winner of that becomes the lord of the underworld for the next duration of time.
Yeah.
And so in this, we have Hades has collected this troop of characters, and his recent and its most recent member is Achilles, who is of course the grand hero of the Trojan War, and he's working alongside Heracles and Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazons. So they are working together to fight against all of these different characters from different cultural mythologies to allow Hades to lord over the underworld as its, you know, uh, as its leader once more. So,
That's awesome, man. Talk about the team too that is helping you with this, because the art looks like next level. The lettering, like it.
dude,
This is so well put together, Michael. Like I'm a creator too, man. So and you get all kinds of levels of people's experience, and sometimes you could see that, and that's okay. Like if
yeah,
you my first issue, I'm hoping that my newest issue is better than my first issue, right? But when I look at yours, man, it is like from top to bottom, dude. It's pretty professional, bro.
I mean, first off, I really appreciate that. The team that I put together for this book is nothing short of special and spectacular. And it honestly blows my mind that these guys haven't worked for the big two,
Yeah.
or even Image, right? Like these people are some of the most talented creatives I've worked with. Like we have William Moore Reyes, who's doing our pencils. He is astonishing. The like I am very tempted to do like an unwrapped edition of Elysian Fields at some point because his pencil work deserves to just be like looked at in shock and awe. And then we've got Tiago Gomez, who is probably the biggest name of the people that I have. He's been getting a lot of work recently on a whole bunch of different projects. And he's doing our inks. He's done just fantastic work. And then we've got this colorist Ruvian, who's doing our colors, and he has a flatter named Blue Winter that's also very good. And it's really just come together in just such a beautiful way. And as impressive as the pages that you see on that pre-launch cam page are, they're the worst pages of the book. Those are the first pages that we did. I'm telling you, like these guys brought a whole other level of professionalism as this goes on, as the book goes on, and as you get later on into the book, and you get to the actual tournament and the meat and bones of it. Uh, this book becomes something else.
That is incredible. Well, let's not hold off any longer. Let's go ahead and let's go to that page real quick so we could see everything that you're talking about. I'll have the link below to make it very easy for people to get over there and support. But yeah, hit the link, get over there right now, and hit right here. I saved it myself, so that way I know when it goes live. But hit the notify button right here. That way you are up to date when it does go live, and then you could get Elysian Fields Reborn. But man, let's just kind of go through this. You kind of gave us the synopsis already, but talk about this first. I assume this is a cover.
Yeah, so this is our main cover that's by our art team. This is the tremendous effort of Will Juarez, Tiago Gomez, and Ruvian. They just, I mean, words fail.
Yeah.
We just have just such a tremendous cover, and you like really showcases the strength of all of the designs of these characters and what each of them are trying to convey. You kind of get their personalities kind of flowing out of them in this cover. It's so good. As I said before, the basic premise of this is Mortal Kombat with heroes of mythology, but that's just the paper thin thing, right? Like obviously we have a human narrative that's driven by these characters where, Achilles is being brought to this tournament in the underworld. But this is Achilles that saw 10 years of war and was kind of enjoying some peace. And now he's been brought back to the fight, and he's not really looking forward to that. But there's also, the demon that drove him in life, this pride, this yearning to be the best. It's one of these things is he going to maintain this, you know, this ability to be peaceful, or is he going to revert to the monster he was towards the end of the Iliad and everything like that? And then you've got, Heracles, who just evokes strength, and like that's very much his role there. And you've got Hippolyta, who's kind of, thrusting her chest out a bit. She's got something to prove, and she's actually going to be getting her own spinoff at some point. Like
Wow.
it's very exciting.
Yeah. Oh, it looks freaking phenomenal, man. Let's go to the next one because oh, here's some interiors. Like I said, the interiors
Yeah,
look amazing. If this is the worst of the interiors, I cannot wait to get my hands on this issue
yeah, and
to see
and
the
and
rest.
that's certainly no condemnation on these
Sure,
pages.
sure. Yeah, it
They're
looks amazing.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But like, I want you to imagine this is like these are the first like these are from the first 12 pages of the book. So these are these guys at their least practice at drawing these characters and everything like that. So this is like you're looking at like the before. Just wait until you get like 13 pages in, and then it just like something else clicks and it just skyrockets.
Wow, it looks phenomenal. So is this the very first page?
That is page 3.
Three,
That
yeah.
is the third page.
Yeah, look at that. Not for the faint of heart. I love it. Looks awesome, man.
Actually, I think that's the second page because this is the third page.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Because page 4 and 5 is that double page splash that's right beneath that second page.
Well, you don't mess around, man. You come out swinging right away.
Yeah,
Love it, man.
look
Who's
at
this,
look at that.
who's this person right here?
So that is King Memnon. He is a person that appears in. So the two major texts that we have about the Trojan War are obviously the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Mhm.
The Iliad takes place during the ninth year of the siege. The Odyssey, we get a small excerpt at one point that details the events of the Trojan horse, but there are a whole bunch of different stories and collections of stories about the time between, whether that's the launching of the thousand ships through the Iliad or the events between the Iliad and the Odyssey. And so these collections of story are known as the Little Iliad. Well, there's a whole bunch of them, but one of the more prominent ones is called the Little Iliad, which takes place between the Iliad and the Odyssey. And so King Memnon is a character that shows up in those stories, and he is a king of Ethiopia who
Mm,
comes over to help out Priam, and is particularly drawn to the conflict because he wants to fight Achilles.
mm.
And they fight. It doesn't go well for Memnon. Um, and so what we have here is our opening 12 pages. You get to see Achilles' final battle at Troy. So you
Wow.
get to see this epic fight, and then you get to see the fall of Achilles.
Yeah.
Um, because that's how we obviously transition from Achilles being alive and fighting in this war to going into the underworld and then transitioning into the tournament.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Love it, man. Look at that.
And we got some really strong variants as well. It's this is such a great book. I'm so proud of
So
brought
this
in.
is a
It,
double page spread right here, Michael.
yeah, that's a double page spread.
Wait till you see that in like person, man. Because it
Dude,
doesn't do it justice being a picture the same size as the others. You can just imagine
I
opening up
know.
the I can see, and that's gonna be
Well,
phenomenal.
like even that, we're not publishing in standard comic format either. We're doing 8.5 by 11 prestige. So
Nice.
like this is really going to breathe in a way that like you're not ready for. Like it,
I love
it's so good.
it. Yeah. Look at that. So let's talk about this variant right here. Who is the artist for this one right here?
So we have we have a pencil inker and a colorist. We've got Vaughn Randall is doing our line art, and we got Robert Nugent who's doing our colors.
Hmm.
And the two things that these two gentlemen have in common is that they are currently working on Spawn books for McFarlane Productions. So absolutely fantastic talent. I've known Vaughn since I started in the scene. We've built a very good rapport. He was very happy to come and do this cover for us. In fact, the first time I worked with Vaughn was on a version of Elysian Field, the original version of Elysian Fields. I had him do a variant way back when, back in 2020.
Mm,
So like it's been really cool to see his star rise. He absolutely deserves it. Such a talented dude. And then Robert Nugent's colors on this just sing. Like
yeah.
there's no other way to put it. It's such a good cover.
No, it's phenomenal. This thing looks incredible. Incredible. All right, let's talk about this one right here.
So this one I'm really proud of because first of all, it's one guy. One guy did this, which is insane.
Yeah.
Zachary Penintuam, I think. It's either I always mentally I reverse the M and the N. So
Yeah.
let's just Penintuan.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
3 days before I launch Elysian Fields, Supergiant Games is having their full release of Hades on all platforms because it's been in early access on Steam for the past year and a half.
Hmm.
Um, Everyone loves those games. They are fantastic. They have beautiful art design. So I wanted to do a Hades homage, but sadly, the artist that does all of the art for Hades, their art director, was not available, and I probably couldn't afford her anyway. But I was looking for people who were like heavily active in their fan contests and were really able to capture that style. And so I found Zachary on ArtStation, and he'd done this beautiful Hades piece. And
Yeah.
I was just like, that's awesome. And so I reached out to him, and he had never done any professional work. This kid's like 19, 20 years old in
Oh,
art school.
wow. That's
And yeah. And so I was like, we negotiated like we negotiated a cover price for him and everything like that. And he just did such a fantastic job. Um, and
crazy.
it's one of these cool things where like, as an indie guy, I love being able to give people a leg up because a rising tide is good for all ships, obviously. And
Hmm.
this is a hard industry to get established in.
Yeah.
Um, so, honestly, I hope people see this and then go freaking hound this kid because he's so talented. He's so good and he really does deserve the
Yeah.
work. It was such a pleasure working with him.
Well, it's phenomenal. I mean, 19 years old, that's insane. All right, here goes the one that I'm very familiar
Yeah.
with here.
So this is this is this cover is done by a small artist you may have heard of, V Ken Marion,
Yep.
and his colorist extraordinaire that you might have also heard of, Andrew Dahlhaus. Small fries, but might have heard of them. Uh, but seriously,
So good.
industry strength. V Ken is such a phenomenal line artist. I remember and like it was crazy because he sent me thumbnails for like uh the different cover proof, like the different cover prompts. Because I was like, dude, just have fun. And so like he did several different cover ideas for me. And it was the most difficult decision I've made because like pretty much all of the ideas that he had were just bangers. I was like, oh, damn it. I feel like I feel like I'm torn between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
But I ultimately chose this one that focused on Achilles because the majority of the covers that I had focused on the team, but
Mhm.
this first issue is really about Achilles. Like
Oh,
and it is his story. So I wanted to have a cover that really focused on him. And so this has been dubbed the Lion-Hearted cover. So
yeah.
this is for the Lion-Hearted Achilles. This is his cover, and Ken and Andrew just absolutely crushed it. I am so excited to see this printed, and like that will be very soon. I actually just approved the print files to the printer to get some proof. So I'll actually have physicals in hand by the time we launch, which is very exciting.
That's awesome, man. Well, this is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I'll put the link below. You got to get over and check this out. This looks absolutely gorgeous. All the panels, all the covers. I mean, you just knocked it out of the park. Let's talk a little bit about, and I'll put everything below to make it really easy for people to get over there. Hit
Mhm.
that notify button. All it's going to do is send you an email as soon as it goes live, which we know it's going to go live at the end of March. So get over there, hit that notify button, so that way you know exactly when it goes live. Um, let's talk a little bit about this entire arc that you have created. So there's story before this. Can you kind of walk through what's been done so far for fans that are seeing you for the first time?
So, like, how do you mean exactly? Like, in terms of Elysian Fields, or
Yeah.
just me in particular as a creator?
Well, let's start with you as a creator. What else have you worked on? And then let's talk about Elysian Fields because I you
Um,
mentioned that this isn't the first thing within this series that you've done, right?
so yes. I started back in 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic. I was going through some things, and I had always kind of been told by people, why don't you make your own stuff? Because for a long time, I actually did freelance industry journalism and wrote a lot of reviews and breakdowns of superhero films and comics and this, that, the other. And so every now and again, I would get the whole, well, why don't you make your own books? Why don't you make your own stories? And of course, working in the industry and you're looking at all this, like, well, it's not exactly a place you can just walk into.
That's for sure.
So, but around 2019, there really started to be kind of a crowdfunding boom. And so by 2020, I was going through some things and needed a positive outlet
Hmm.
to focus on. And so comics became that outlet. And I was working on at the time, I was working on the script for Elysian Fields issue 0, which was which ended up being my first comic. And I was very fortunate. We funded on Indiegogo, and raised just shy of 9K
Wow.
on my first book. It was a very lightning in a bottle moment that made me realize that I could go somewhere with this, and then I immediately invested the profit that I made off of that into the next book, and then promptly learned a bunch of new lessons about you know getting my butt kicked because my next book did not do near as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but then in towards the end of 2020, going into 2021, I came up with the idea of this character called the Embrace,
Mm.
who is dark superhero, a dark take on the superhero genre, about this father who lost his son, and his son's ghost comes back and stops him from taking his own life. And when they come together and embrace, the son reveals what happened to
Right.
him. And when he comes to, he's in a super suit powered by his son's ghost. And so together they're this spectral superhero
Oh wow.
trying to bring his child's murderers to justice. So like this book really blew up, and we did very well. We raised a little over 15K, and like it really resonated with people. So then I was like, okay, well, maybe I can be doing something in comics again.
What a roller
And so
coaster, huh?
yeah, and so then I did a book called SPQR's Bizarre Adventure, which was a parody of the hit manga and anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, except I smashed it with Roman history. So it was Julius Caesar and Pompey Magnus having a stand fight at the Rubicon River, which was a blast. I worked with a wonderful artist named Kari Salviejo on that, who did a beautiful job of paying homage to Iraqi Hiroki Araki's style, so good. And then I did uh I did a collaboration book with my friends over at Global Frequency Studios called Judex, where I took this silent film character that is in the public domain that a lot of people theorize was an inspiration for Walter B. Gibson's The Shadow,
Hmm.
and I turned him into this cultural defender of Paris during the occupation in the 30s and 40s.
Oh wow.
Um, and so we had this beautiful black and white noir styles pulp hero comic that really is just kind of like a love letter to the shadow and stuff like that. In the meantime, I've also worked for other creators. I write the American Bliss series for Dave Brink over at Genuine Comics. He publishes out of, I think, uh, I think he's like either Belgium or Holland.
Hmm.
Um, and then um, I'm the editor for Rini Szczechowski on Fiendish. I came on with the second book. Uh, I've written stories for all sorts of different people at this
Yeah.
point. Some that have gotten published, others that have fallen by the wayside. But I love this industry. I love writing stories. I love writing comics. I've gotten fairly decent at it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I've
I mean, Fiendish
I've
is awesome, man. I have everything she's done so far. It's incredible.
she's tremendous.
Phenomenal.
The first book was a solid start, but I remember I came to her and I told her some things that she could do better. She's like, do you want to be like, I'm looking for an editor? And I was like, yeah, sure. So like everything that's happened from Fiendish 2 forward, I have edited.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's great, man. It's just really well put together.
Mhm. Absolutely. And she's a very great person to work with. Rini is very professional. She is
Yeah,
oh, speaking as an editor, it's one of these things that's really nice where like of course everybody has a personal connection to their work
sure.
and can be a little bit defensive about it. So as an from an editorial standpoint, it's really difficult to kind of break through that and get people to realize like, look, man, I'm not trying to destroy your thing. I'm trying to help you
Yeah.
realize what you're trying to say in a way that does the best.
Yeah.
And so this isn't me saying that what you're doing is bad. This is me saying how you have said this isn't going to connect as well. Let's refocus and add something here or take away something from here to really make the what you're trying to say hit the audience the way that you want it to. And she is absolutely not averse to the red ink on the script. So it's been a very refreshing experience from an editorial format. A lot of hurt feelings in the indie scene in terms of getting red ink. There is a project out there where I effectively told the guys like, look, I get what you're trying to do. You need to restructure your story and do it like this,
Hmm.
and this would handle it the best. And I am of course not working with that person at this point because they did not like that I told them effectively, you've got a good idea here. It's not working the way you want it. Here's how you can get it to.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome, man. We've done a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people might not be so aware of. Is there a place where people could go to look at some of your prior work as they get prepared for this one? Do you
oh,
have a
absolutely.
website, or how do we follow you and all that good stuff?
I'm on Facebook. You can find Nine Realms Publishing
Hmm.
uh, on there. Instagram, I'm 9RP Comics. I am on Twitter, but that's mostly for me, like putting out, you know, rants about bad historical things in films and what have you, because I'm weird like that. Like I literally, it brought joy to my heart because I got some genuine engagement on it. But I went through like a 12 tweet thread on why the movie Troy sucks, and just broke it down. I was like, these are the pros of Troy.
Yeah.
These are all of the cons.
Yeah.
They, they are not equal.
Yeah.
Please stop. Um, and between that and complaining about all the set photos coming out from Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, I've had a lot to complain about recently.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how much genuine comic interaction you'll get over there. But if you want to be entertained by me spurring out over historical shenanigans, that is a place to follow me.
I love the passion, Michael. I love the passion, my friend.
But yeah, man, those are like those are the major places you can find me. And if you find me on there and you're interested in some of the other work, please feel free to shoot a message out. I can send you the previous campaign links to what I've done. I think you can actually still buy Judex. I think it's in demand
Okay.
over there, and that is such a great book. It was such a blast to work with Aaron Neff and Kim over there at Gold Frequency. They're an absolute talent in their own right, and their book Mavericks is a chef's kiss, and they're working with Hector Trinick on their spinoff Mavericks of Vesuvius. So
Hector
absolutely,
Pinnick?
yeah,
Ooh, yeah, he did, I think, Astrobots recently with Massive,
yes,
which
yes.
was Simon Furman, who is a Hall of Famer within the Transformers world. Incredible, man. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
yeah, no, like let me tell you that like they're absolutely fantastic over there at Global Frequency. Some of the best creators I've worked with, and in fact, like you asked about like what you need to know from Elysian Fields before going into this. You don't. This is a whole reboot because like Elysian Fields kind of fell on its face because I was new. I
Yeah,
didn't know what I was doing. And so I decided to reboot it. And one of the big reasons I did decide to reboot it was because of just how much I learned
yeah,
working with Neff and Kim. They not even kind of they took me under their wing, and I learned so much from them.
yeah.
Like I've obviously learned a lot working with everybody and working on all these different things, but like working with Neff and Kim was such an educational experience on in terms of learning how to properly structure a page,
Yeah.
how to look at your art and be like, okay, this is good, but it doesn't really tell the story that we're trying to tell. We
Right.
need to go back. Like learning when to actually put your foot down,
Mm.
because at the end of the day, you're not just making a comic for yourself. You're
Mm.
If you're doing this, you're investing money, and a lot of money from an
A lot.
individual standpoint, to create a professional product that hopefully brings in readers. And the only way you do that is you treat this like a business. You treat this like a profession. And they taught me so much. They're such delightful people.
Yeah. Well, incredible, Michael. I mean, this title looks absolutely fabulous. I will be backing. I cannot wait to get my hands on. I'm a big Conan the Barbarian fan,
You're
and
gonna have a blast.
Conan vibes like no tomorrow with the fight scenes and the blood and everything that's going on, man. So I am in 100%. And plus, V did a cover. I got to get the V cover and have him sign it the next
Oh,
time I
dude.
see him.
And let me tell you, man, like um as an extra incentive for you and for anybody watching this, first 20 backers of this on Kickstarter, I am having 20 extra proof copies made of the main cover of the book that I will be signing and numbering and shipping out the week after the campaign launches,
Nice.
direct to you guys. For domestic backers, I should say. I don't have the scratch for you international guys. I'm sorry. I wish I could.
Yeah, yeah.
But first 20 domestic backers, you guys will be getting this book, be getting a proof copy of this book for free, effectively, signed by me, just as a thank you for backing early and helping us reach our goals. And you will also get whatever perk tier you purchased with our stretch goals are predominantly cover upgrades. So like, you know, let's say you got that V Ken Marion cover and maybe, it's a spot foil thing where like the slash across the page is spot foil,
Ah.
and you've got that and you've got that cover of the book. There's a lot of value on the campaign, and that's something that I do take great pride in. Is I try to make sure that everything's affordable and that there is as much value as I can put into any perk tier.
Well, I cannot wait for this to go live. Everybody that's watching, everything you need to know is right below. Hit that link to Kickstarter. Get over, hit that notify button. I believe you said March 28th, this thing should go live. So
Yes.
hit that notify button. That way you get notified and you don't forget. Be one of the first 20 to back if you're here in the US in the lower 48. And there could be some surprises for you. Michael, am I leaving anything out, my friend?
I don't think so, man. Please help us get over 100 subscribers. It helps us in the algorithm, and hopefully Kickstarter will make us a project they love. That's the goal.
That's the goal, man. Well, Michael, I can't tell you how much I appreciate getting to meet you, talking about your beautiful title that you've created. And I hope this isn't the last time. You're always welcome, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. I will absolutely be back.
All right, sounds good, Michael. Well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, my friend.
You too, man. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
talk soon.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.